I thought I was going to make a quick video on how I use this large gouache painted paper as the background for a concertina book of an abstract fall landscape using my hand-carved stamps. However, it turned out to be quite a long video, so let's get started. Now, I'm using a sheet from my Canson XL mixed media pad. It's 18 by 24 inches, and I figured it would be perfect because the edges are already square, and I will make a perfectly square book, and it will all line up. If you've been here before, you know that things that I do are not always lined up or even. It's just how I am, and that's okay. So I'm gonna bring these to life, and I'm gonna use my distilled water, and I'm just gonna give a little dollop in here. You definitely could spray. If you have a mister, I'll just put a little dollop on my white. All right, so these are all gonna come back to life. Okay, so I think my paints are ready to go. I'm just gonna start moving color around and let's see what happens. I'm gonna pull this to life a little bit and just jump in, and I'm going to do sort of now, since I know this is going to be folded up, I'm going to use the landscape orientation as my focal point. And since I know I'm going to be folding this into thirds, so I know I've kind of got a little bit of a line here, I'm going to kind of just go with these reference points. Maybe it'll work. It'll be the suggestion. So that means that, now this gets tricky because it goes in different orientations. I could just ignore it, but I am going to kind of focus on thinking what's the sky and what's the ground. And I think for this, the bottom here and this one here is going to be the ground, and this one here, the ground is going to be flipped. And you'll see when I fold it what I'm talking about. So I'm going to add some of my lighter colors first, and then I'm going to come back in with my darker colors. So let's just go for it. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Autumn. I do hand-carved stamps, mixed media, and all sorts of other fun things, and I would love for you to subscribe. Don't worry if you get paint splattered anywhere. You're not going to care. It's not going to make a difference. I'm going to turn it upside down. It's a little dried up. Add a little bit more water. I don't want it to be too even. I want to have the color move differently around the vertical landscape that's going to take place. So like I said, I flipped it now. My ground is right here. This third in the middle, my ground is right here. So that kind of helps. You can kind of let those two mingle a little bit. You can give some height. I don't want to do too much green because things are not super, well, they are still very green in New England right now. I shouldn't say that. It's pretty green right now. Give it a little mountain action or trees in the distance. I think I'm done with this green, so I want to clean my brush off. And then I can go into the water with it. Okay, so I'm going to pull a little bit of orange into the sky. And you can make this as dark, opaque as you want, or watery as you want. There's no right or wrong. So again, so my two skies are going to be sort of united on this bottom, and on the top side here, my two horizons are going to be united, and you'll see more as it develops. One of the great things about traditional gouache is that you can use it like watercolor, and you can see the blooming starting to happen. If your paint is super dry, it will take a little bit of effort to really get it rehydrated, and that's okay. I love the idea that I'm painting this upside down. It's sort of freeing. Okay, now I'm going to go in with a little bit of this sort of slate color blue. I don't know how it's going to look, so let me just kind of give it a, yeah, it's a real smoky feel. And I am here for that. So I'm just going to give a little bit in this sky. You got to have neutrals. When I look at a color like this, I think of it more like a neutral because it's kind of grayish. Plus, it's a good contrast of color. I'm going to do this part here of the sky. Now, as I was making this video and I was filming and talking about using my gouache, when I went to edit this video, I realized that the whole topic on traditional gouache was actually a standalone video all its own. So I have another video talking about exactly that, the traditional gouache that I use and how I use it, and I will leave the link for that below. I think I might leave a little bit of white peeking through. You definitely could cover the whole thing, but I'm gonna just leave a little bit of white in some areas. Just a little bit. Add a little bit of sparkle. Okay, so this is my land here. This is my horizon. This is my sky. This is my sky here, upside down. This is my horizon, upside down. And then this is my horizon, and then this is my sky. So I think I might just leave it. I'm gonna work on the edges, and I'm so tempted to just cover the whole thing with paint and go crazy. But I think right now, less is more. I do wanna add in some darker values. I wanna add in my sepia and this really muddy green that I have. And so I'm just gonna add some interesting marks with my paintbrush on the side, sort of give it some trees. Give it a more grounded feel. Paint with my non-dominant hand. Again, it's that neutral color that just sort of grounds it. Otherwise, your colors, if they're all just bright and chroma, it's going to kind of float away. After it's dried, I fold it into quarters vertically and into thirds horizontally. And then I cut the horizontal lines, leaving 1/4 on opposite sides. And then it folds easily into a concertina book. But what's not easy for me is getting it even, but that's okay. Okay, so this is my first page, second page, third page, fourth page, fifth page, sixth page. All right, so that worked. So I am going to pull out my stamps and start stamping. I've got a whole bunch of stamps here. I know it's a lot. I'm going to give myself a very short amount of time to pick the stamps that I want to use. Really quick, if you haven't seen my video on how I mount these stamps onto acrylic mounts with two-way stick glue, I'll link the video in the description. I've pulled out leaves. I don't know. I might use some of these. Okay, I should time myself because I'm getting carried away. Oh, look, I also have pumpkins. Love my pumpkin stamps. Definitely going to use some of my pumpkin stamps. Really quick, in my last video when I was talking about my favorite stamp carving supplies, I said that pink Speedy Carb was my absolute favorite, and it is. It absolutely is. And I said it's durable, 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 and it absolutely is, but it still can break. You can see here, this stem broke off of this wheat branch. But that's because it was really thin right here, and I was just really giving it a hard time, and I just broke it. It doesn't normally break that easy, so I was really abusing it. So just keep it in mind. It will break, or it will not so much break, it will just tear if it is put under the right or the wrong conditions. But I'm just going to leave that right on the block and see how. I think it's going to be just fine. You may not even see it when I stamp. Okay, I'm definitely going to use that one. I'm going to use these little pods here, which I just love. I'm going to use this little stamp of a leaf. I'm going to leave all of my pumpkins out because I'm going to just use those. I just love this little stamp, and I might use some mushrooms. I need to have at least one flower, maybe two. I love this one. I might add a house, so I'll just leave that there. I'm gonna leave this one here for some branchy foregrounds. I'm gonna give myself another flower. I'm gonna use this flower. I like this one a lot. And I might use some of these. These look like they're all kind of the same, but I did it for variation of direction. One's going off to the right, one's going off to the left, and then one is just going straight up. So I might put these here and use them because they're fun to play with. I think that's good. This will be good. And I'm gonna leave these guys here. I have an acorn, a mushroom, another little branch, a flower, some more mushrooms. I don't know if I'll use that one or not. Another little pod type. Okay, I think this is what I've got here, is what I'm gonna use. Don't know if I'll use the tree. I don't know what I'll use. I don't know if I'll use this bird. I might use this bird, probably. But we'll just play and see what happens. I have a little texture here. I have some solid kind of bold silhouette for background, some whimsy, some illustrative mushrooms, acorns, flowers, birds, branches, houses. We'll see. Now I'm gonna pull out some inks. Okay, so these are my inks that I'm gonna use. I've got a really dark, the fallen leaves, perfect for fall. I've got an orange, I've got a purple, several greens. I have 4 greens. I have sort of an ochre yellow and a red and a pink, just so I can have a light value. I'm only gonna use the VersaFine Clair inks because I don't want to confuse you, because I could easily pull out a bunch of different inks, but we're gonna keep it simple. And yes, this is simple. So let's just start stamping. You just open it to here. A lot of times I will stamp a sky, and I mean, you could do something really abstract and stamp something like this as a sky in the background. Very sort of a modern feel. All right, so I have a little circle stamp. I might put some circles in the sky. Stamping off the second one gives a really faded impression, or a ghost print, and I like that look. Here I'm gonna add some of my little leaves. I'm gonna try and see if I can do these all at the same time. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If they're carved from the same block, it's easier for that to work. But sometimes they can just be a slight variation in the height. So we'll see if this is gonna work. Nope. I can tell when I ink it that it may not work. That might be where you just have to stamp them separately. Yeah. See, that's not making full contact. So I will just do these one at a time. So just a little cluster of greenery there. And just because I have everything set up here, I might just hit this on my art table paper. I'm gonna use this one here. I think what I'll do is stamp that off, and then I'm gonna try a different color with the same stamp, making sure that it's really inked up well. And then stamp it a little bit different than I did in the last section. Kind of bunching them all together. I think I will add a little bit of texture. This is just a random little stamp that I carved, and I just love using it. So, let's see. Great for texture. All right, so I think I'm gonna use something bigger, and I'm gonna go for this. We'll see how it looks. This set of wheat stalks. Now, I should have known this was going to happen. This color of ink is just getting lost with the paint in the background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try orange. I'm going to stamp it right on top and see what happens. And if I don't like it, I'll switch to something else. And even if it's offset a little bit, see, that looks good. It looks okay. I'm going to just leave it and maybe add more. One of my rule of thumbs is if I don't like something, I add a little bit more and maybe I'll like it more. Sometimes it works. Often it works. So now I could come back in and add some more of this yellow in the background. Maybe I will. I've already started, so why not? It'll add a shadowy effect. And it can be a little off center. It does not have to line up. It's better if it doesn't. That looks a little bit better. The paint's a little bit lighter here than it is over here. So I might add a little bit more along the bottom. And I think I'm going to add some coming up right in between those two. And since it's already inked up and I have my stamp out, I'm just going to do this. Because when this gets made into something, I'm going to remember doing this, and I'm going to remember this creative journey that I took. Kind of fun. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. Not much. I'm really feeling like I want to add the house, but I think the house might be too big, or maybe not. Maybe I'll add it right here. Be kind of cute, or right here. That might look good right there. Okay, so I'm going to unfold it a little bit so that it's not too bunched up underneath and it would affect my print. And I think I'm going to go for a purple house. It's not going to show up very well on the yellow. This color on the yellow, it's going to be tricky. We'll see. I could have used more ink on that stamp. It's okay. It's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to keep going. All right, I'm going to add some flowers. I like my flowers to kind of float up into the sky. I think that's sort of a fun look. We'll just stamp a few here. When I do this kind of activity after I've stamped on a piece of work, it sort of releases my mind. It lets me kind of just reset a little bit. So it's one of the great reasons to have one of these papers down on your desk. So believe it or not, I'm already feeling like I don't have enough stamps, but I'm gonna just keep moving forward because I do. I have enough. I feel like I really want to add a tree. This tree, I don't use it very often. The tricky thing about this tree is it is not mounted with any glue, and I'm just going to use it like this. It used to have some double stick tape on it, and that's what all that ugliness is from. But we're going to see if I can do it, if I can do it just with my hands. I know I can do it. We're just going to see how well the print comes out. All right, I'm just going to put it right here, that seam, and I'm going to use my little antique iron press. You can use a Baron if you have a Baron. Good enough. All right, so since I've got my ink up already, I'm just gonna do this because why not? It's got a little bit of ink on it. And again, it's part of my journey. Okay, I'm going to use this tree because it just kind of jumped out at me. And I'm going to use this sort of evergreen color. This is Rainforest. I think I'll just do those three. I think that'll be enough. Now I'm going to come back in with a darker color. That was the avocado. And I'm going to come back in with the verdant. It's barely noticeable, but it makes me happy. That's okay. Works fine. Let's see, what do I have going on here? I'm going to use some red. This is red tulip, I think. Yeah. And I'm going to use these pods. I think it'll work. I think it'll look cool. I should have inked up my ink pads before I started. Not following my own rules. Yeah, that ink pad needs ink. Oh, I have some here. All right, let's see if this makes a difference. It should make a big difference. Definitely darker. And I think those three are enough. Just sort of stamp it off here on my paper. Give it a little extra ink for fun. Okay, now I really am liking that red ink. Let's do this flower here. I'm going to stamp it off once to give it a little ghost print in the background for some depth. Let's see what I've got going on here. I think I'll add some flowers. I might just do some orange flowers. I feel like I don't have enough stamps. I feel like I don't have enough inks. Actually, I'm not going to do orange because I'm going to add pumpkins, so I'm going to wait on that. I'm going to stamp this off here. I don't think this pink is going to show up, but I'm going to do it anyway. Actually, that's just what I like about it, that it's not showing up very much. All right, I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to use this Shady Lane. I'm going to pull in this yellow too. I don't know if it's going to work, if it's going to show up very much, but we're going to try it. And I'm just going to throw in some yellow leaves. Just sort of tossed around. Ah, they're not showing up, but I'm going to put them in there anyway. Because I'll know they're there. That does not even show up. I don't care. I'm going to just do another one. That one shows up. It's great if it's just kind of hanging out in the background. So I'm going to use this color again. This. Ooh, I like how that really is just sort of in the background. Here, you won't see that, but it'll be just subtle enough. I might put some of these in the sky. I'm saving the pumpkins for last. Now, what I could do with this one, because these are just sort of silhouette, blocky silhouette type stamps, I might add a little bit in the background, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp it off first so that it's very subtle. Just a little bit. I think that's good. Just a little something. You could do another one with the pink maybe, and the smaller one. And since this is such a light color, I don't think I have to stamp that one off. That's fun. I don't want to overdo it with that one. Okay, I'm going to use this one. I don't know where. Maybe here, but I'm going to use a brown because I really need to ground some of this. Oh, that's green. Okay, we're using green. I might do both. I'm going to stamp it again and again, and I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to pull it a little bit over here next to these pods. And now I'm going to add some brown. Oh, I put the wrong lid. That's why. Put the wrong lid back on. That's why it's probably best not to put your... See, I'm doing it again. Okay, well, let's take a moment and regroup. I'll just stamp here and think about what the heck I'm doing. Okay, I need my... Where is my brown? Ah, see? Wrong lid. That's why it's good to have a color marker on the back. I think that's good enough for now. Okay, let's regroup here and see what I'm doing. This needs a little bit of darkness here. This needs some grounding in here. This needs some flowers, pumpkins. All right, I'm gonna use this stamp here. Actually, I think I'm gonna use the brown, but first I'm gonna try the orange. And then I'll add brown on top of it. But I think that's just enough, almost. Yeah, that's just enough. So I'll stamp this off here. And I'm going to add these mushrooms, and then I think I'll start the pumpkins and then fill in the foreground. Where do these mushrooms belong? Right here, because they're going to be really dark. I have these here. I think I'm gonna Oasis green in here. It might be just what I need. I'm gonna take this little mushroom and I'm gonna add it right along here. It gets tricky when you stamp on folded paper. That is not looking like I want it to look, but I don't care. I'm not gonna worry about it. Just gonna keep moving. And then I have this one I'm gonna use right here. Okay, I'm starting to not love it so much. So I'm gonna just add my pumpkins and a bird and some flowers, and then I'm gonna be done. Maybe a few birds. My foreground greenery as well, which is gonna be this, which I'm actually not in love with this stamp, but it does really work very well for what I want. All right, we're gonna bring out our pumpkins. I am going to go with this one. Don't know why, I just decided. So I'm gonna load it up really well. And I'm actually going to give the stem a little dark tap there. And I'm gonna just put it right here in front of the house. Hopefully it will be super cute. It's cute enough. Okay, let's do some more pumpkins. I'm gonna do a smaller one, same thing. See if I can just give it a little tap on the stem. All right, that's looking kind of cute. I'm gonna do another pumpkin. Maybe right, well, that may not show up. I'll do another pumpkin right here. Nope, right, yes, right here. Another pumpkin over here. It's the same one, so I'm gonna switch. I got lots of pumpkins to choose from, so I'm gonna switch it out. And I might even add a little bit of red to this one. May not show up. You can see it just did a little bit of red on the edge there. It's kind of cute. This is where collage really does come in handy. And since I didn't do any collage here and I painted heavy on some parts, I really need to be careful of stamping over a dark area. So just keep that in mind. I might also pull in another darker red to kind of give it some oomph. And then this is getting messy, but I don't care. That doesn't look great, but I'm gonna just keep going. That actually makes it look better because it gives the eye a place to focus and understand this is a pumpkin, and these guys are just sort of in the background. So I'm happy with that. My squatty pumpkin. Gotta use this one because this one's one of my favorites. I don't know if it's gonna show up, but I'm gonna go for it. Maybe I should put it here. Maybe I'll put it right here. That looks so much better. We'll stamp it off. Do this one again. Do it kind of red, a little bit of brown here. I didn't think that one was going to show up, but it did, so I'm glad. This is where collage comes in handy because you can put stamped images that are cut out from white paper. But we're doing the hard stuff right now, so it's more fun, more challenging. I'm gonna do a bigger pumpkin here. You can see my ink pads are really getting mucked up, and that's okay. I can clean them later. Since I have the re-inker, it'll be just fine. All right, big pumpkin. Let's see. Are you gonna work here? We'll find out. It's kind of a dark surface I'm stamping on. It's okay. It works enough. I'm gonna use this one, and I think I'm gonna put this one right here. See how the ink is really squared up? I'm going to kind of smooth it a little bit. Blend it. I'll show you how to fix this later. There's so many things you could do. You could come back in with pens and pencils, pastels. All right, I'm going to add a little bit of foreground greenery and be done with it. Throw in a bird and we're done. So I'm going to just do this. I'm going to use the fallen leaves. It's really going to be dramatic in the front. And I'll just go along. Put it in random spots. Sometimes I'll bunch it up a little bit. Or sometimes I'll just do a single one. You know, I say this isn't my favorite stamp, but it really does come in handy. All right, I think I'm there. I might add a little bit more. I'll come back and show you, and I'll stamp my bird, and I'll show you when I'm done. So let's see where we are now. On the back side, I did some loose watercolor of golds, orange, and greens. And then on the cover, I stamped the wheat stalks just so that I know where the front is. Inside, I finished up with a few more stamped areas, and I absolutely, for sure, came back in with some paint because it needed some paint highlights here and there. I stamped some more in the background and in the sky. I actually stamped on top of those yellow leaves with some orange, you can see here. And I did accents of paint on the pumpkins, just to sort of make them pop out a little bit. I also did some sprinkles of paint just for the leaves, for the trees, just a little bit to add that information to the trees. I stamped some birds, some orange on top of the other yellow stamped imagery to bring that to life more. I added some extra painted grasses in the foreground and the background, and some more little critters. And I also painted a little bit on top of the mushrooms. I think it turned out really, really cute. It was a little bit of a process, I'm not going to lie, but I had so much fun doing it. And I'm so glad that you joined me. One last thing, I also wanted to show you how I clean off my dirty, muddy stamp pads. I simply just take a clean towel or a clean paper towel and very gently just wipe away the muddied ink. And usually that does it. If you have to add a little bit extra of the fresh ink from your re-inker, that will also help bring it back to its normal vibrancy. So just a little tip for you. And of course, nothing goes to waste because that extra ink that I wiped off gets added to my art table paper. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And be sure to catch my next video because it's going to be all about using traditional gouache.